Hey everybody, my name is Lauren Paul. I am the owner of Lauren Paul Photography and LA Marketing and Productions, and we have been interviewing small business owners in Tulsa. Today we are talking to Heather. Welcome, Heather. So I'm so excited to get to chat with you about your small business. Would you like to go ahead and tell us what you do?
Yes, hi. So great to be here. My business is Mobile Breastfeeding Services, and I'm an internationally board certified lactation consultant. And I've been practicing for over 10 years and working with moms and babies for about 14 years, doing education and support. And I started my practice in California. I just recently moved back to Oklahoma just over a year and a half ago. So my business is new to Tulsa, but I'm not new in the industry. So
Cool. Gotcha.
yeah.
So is this something that you've always wanted to do, or how did it happen? Did it just kind of fall into your lap, or?
Yeah, well, it kind of, not really fell into my lap, but it fell into my life, I guess. I had my son, Jake, he's 14 now. So I had a very traumatic birth experience. I had a very, um, you know, glassy, beautiful vision of how my natural birth would be with my midwife, and it did not go that way. And I ended up having a very traumatic labor and delivery with an emergency C-section. And at the time, doing skin to skin and breastfeeding was becoming more and more talked about, but I was it was very important to me. And I even had Dr. Bob Sears, who is really well known now for writing the vaccine book and a lot of other things, but he was our pediatrician. So I was very natural and I wanted to breastfeed, and I knew having a C-section could really affect that. So I was just adamant about doing skin to skin, and became very bonded with my son by doing the breastfeeding, and it just really helped me heal from the trauma of my birth. And I became just an advocate for moms to breastfeed, and I became very interested in the immunology of breastfeeding, and I just started researching it, and I became more and more known for it. So I just kind of started helping moms, and then I went back to school and studied it and ended up doing it for a living. So that's really the journey of my becoming a breastfeeding expert.
That's great. I love that story. So tell me about what's your greatest reward in offering these services? How does your job bring you joy? What do you love most about it?
You know, I tell moms all the time, breastfeeding is natural, but it is not easy. And a lot of moms struggle tremendously. They experience pain, emotional barriers, and bonding with their children. And it can be one of the most challenging times in a woman's life, having a baby and trying to feed your baby and not being able to. So I would say the most rewarding part of my job is really helping the mom through that transition, and when they can breastfeed successfully and have that beautiful bonding experience with their baby, there is nothing more beautiful and rewarding and wonderful than that.
Yeah. I have 3 kids, so I have gone in and out of breastfeeding 3 different times, and I especially with my first, I had no idea how hard it was going to be, because everybody said it's natural, it's what you're supposed to do. So I thought surely it's just going to naturally happen. Well, it didn't. And at the time, I didn't have a very good lactation consultant in the hospital. So it ended up not working out very well for us. And our daughter was very little. And so we had to go a different route, because it just wasn't working. So with my boys though, I took more time to educate myself, because I realized it is hard. It's not, there's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of, just obstacles to get through to be able to breastfeed, because it doesn't always just come so easy for everybody. But then luckily for both of my boys afterwards, it was very easy. They were very good eaters. So they were very successful. But I think what you do is so great. It's so needed. And I think that is such a it's such a fragile time for women, especially, you know, I think I talked to another small business owner about this earlier this week, but it's like there's so much education leading up to having a baby, you know, what to expect when you're expecting, and then labor and delivery, and then all of a sudden you kind of feel like you're just standing on a cliff going, okay, now what? I have this baby and I don't know what to do. So I love what
Totally.
you're doing. That's so great.
Yeah.
So tell us about how your business has changed during the quarantine, or what are you doing now to accommodate this new lifestyle we have?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to kind of touch on something you said about, you know, nurses um, helping in the hospital with breastfeeding. And my business is very different because I'm a mobile lactation consultant. I do outpatient care, so I'm not in a hospital setting. I do work in a birth center setting, and that is, you know, a beautiful opportunity to be there right at the beginning. But um, most of my training is, you know, with moms outside of the hospital. So that kind of differentiates me from other lactation consultants that women may have had experience with. And I'm also not a nurse, although I'm an IBCLC. So I actually had more clinical training, was required to have more clinical hands-on training to get my degree and to get my license and pass the board exam. So it's kind of sets me apart. But as far as how it's changed, really the main part of my business has changed is just using more precautions, using a mask. We use gloves when we're working with the babies, always putting our fingers in their mouth and doing an oral assessment, but I'm using gloves all the time with the mom and the baby now. And, you know, just being really respectful of if a mom doesn't feel comfortable doing an in-person consultation, we do have telehealth options, and
Awesome.
there's a lot of other ways I've done a lot of phone calls too, just talking moms through, like what you're saying, that transition time. Really the first couple of weeks are sometimes the hardest time just to get things started. And it's been actually really busy for me in this time. I have partnered up with Breathe Birth Center in Tulsa, and because of the restrictions in the hospital due to the COVID situation, there's a lot more moms that are wanting a alternative birth setting. And so Breathe Birth Center is the best of both worlds between a hospital and a home birth, where we still have, you know, the opportunity to use all the things they would use in the hospital during the birth if necessary, and be transferred across the street to St. Francis, south if needed, but it's a more open environment, and we are able to continue having partners and doulas and all the support people and the children at the birth that the mom wants. So that's been really beautiful to be able to have that setting for the moms for their birth.
Awesome. Okay, so that so you go to people's homes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if
I have a home office. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I have a home office as well, but I do I do a lot of traveling to moms' homes. Yes.
Okay. So what if somebody were to have a baby in the hospital? I guess right now you can't even go to the hospitals, right?
No, I wouldn't be able to go to the hospital. I could go to the home when they're released from the hospital.
Okay.
And, obviously I'm available by phone anytime during the hospital stay. It's really great if I can see a mom when she's pregnant. Like you said, you get a lot of education about pregnancy and labor, but I like to meet with moms when they're pregnant and talk to them about a game plan for when they have the baby, because I don't just focus on breastfeeding. I focus on total family care, taking care of the mom and the dad and the family unit and the baby, and also, baby care and things that are normal or not normal in a newborn, and how to soothe the baby and how to make sure mom and dad are both getting some sleep. So things like that.
I think that's great. Okay, well, let's see. Where do you see yourself going with this business? What's your outlook?
It's been really different starting my business newly here in Oklahoma, and like just in a different decade, really, with social media being so important and used so much. So I really hope to be more savvy with my social media presence. I just now have a Facebook page and an Instagram account. So for my business, it's brand new. I literally have one post on there. So that's something that I hope to grow in my business, is to be more, just more with new times. And now that I'm in my 40s, the moms that I'm helping are in their 20s and 30s. So I just kind of need to be able to, reach the younger generation. And I just hope to grow in that way, to be more effective at just reaching out to more of the younger generation. So.
Yeah, I think that's great that you realize that, because it's definitely the way things are going, and the way, I mean, especially right now, social media
Totally.
is everything that we're doing. So so I think that's great. In Tulsa, how long did you say you've been in Tulsa?
I moved back just over about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So, and I just relaunched my business here in January is when I just decided to go back. So.
Okay. There's definitely a big community and support of natural birth and breastfeeding, and just that whole lifestyle. Tulsa, there's a lot of support in that area, in the Tulsa area. So I think you'll have a lot of success with your business, and making some community connections and finding some partners. So I've actually got some people in mind that I'm already like, oh, I'm going to tell her about this person and this person. So we'll chat. But
thank you.
You're welcome. So you said that you're on Facebook, so people can find you on Facebook.
Yes.
And then do you have a website, or how else can people reach out to you to book your services or find you?
I do not have a website yet, but very soon you'll be able to book my services through Breathe Birth and Wellness, and they do have a really great website. And then my Facebook is Mobile Breastfeeding Services, and that's my Instagram as well. So you can contact me through there, and hopefully I will have a website in the near future.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, it's baby steps. So
yes.
take what you can get. So you're doing great. And then I will link all of her social media platforms in the comments and descriptions and all that good stuff, so that everybody can find you. Thank you so much. It was so nice to chat with you. I'm really excited about your business. I wish I would have had you a couple years ago when I needed a good lactation consultant. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.